We have come to the 13 weeks of our Dhamma study. That leaves us 2 more weeks to go. This is the week of 13th, and we will be covering the Dhamma group 8. That means next week we will be talking about Dhamma group 9 and group 10. And the last week we will be talking about something else, which something that the lay people can put into practice. And that will be wrapping up in the week of the 15th. And today we will be talking about the Dhamma group 8, which is only 2 topics, but it's huge. It's huge. They consider a huge topic. We'll get to that in a moment. So today is the lecture number 13, the Dhamma group 8, Sunday, May 5th, 2024. So for today, we will be talking about these 2 topics. The first group of Dhamma today, we'll be talking about Lokadhamma. Lokadhamma. Loka mean world. Loka mean world. When you hear the word Loka or world in Buddhism, there are several meanings. But in this particular one, the world means being, the 5 aggregate. You yourself is one world. I myself is one world. So the 8 worldly conditions or the 8 worldly wind. Okay, when you hear the word wind or condition, it signals as something, right? The winds blow, the wind flow, and when the wind flow, it sway, it swing. This is what happens. It flow over all of us, every single one of us who exist in this world. We are affected by these worldly winds, and there are 8 of them. We get to know them today. And the second Dhamma, we'll be talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, which I believe most of us here are familiar with these terms, the Noble Eightfold Path. We did touch a little bit when we talked about the Dhamma group 4, the 4 Noble Truth, right? But we did not go in detail when it comes to the last Noble Truth, the truth that lead to the cessation of suffering, or the Noble Eightfold Paths. And today, we will explore all of them in this teaching or in this lecture. Start from the first one. Let me start from the sutra that talk about the worldly winds or the worldly conditions. In Lokadhamma Sutra, Lokadhamma Sutra from Anguttara Nikaya 8.6, the bhikkhu mean monks, the 8 worldly conditions revolve around the world. The world means us as a being. And the world revolves around these 8 worldly conditions. What are 8 conditions? Buddha said gain and loss, fame, defame or disgrace, blame or praise or gossiping, pleasure or pain, or sukha or dukkha. There are 8 of them. What's so important about them? What's so important about all of this? We seem to familiar with them, right? Gain and loss, fame and defame, praise and blame or gossip, sukha or dukkha, pleasure or pain. What's the big deal? Why the Buddha have to mention something like this? Everything that we learn, by now we should be able to realize that we cannot take the teaching of the Buddha lightly, even though we may feel like, I think I know that, this is simple, this is normal, and everyone seems to know that. And if we think like that, we may not be able to understand the deeper dimension or the deeper aspect of the teaching of the Buddha, what the Buddha really wants us to reflect on what he teach. Today we're gonna go deeper to this particular teaching, not just gain and loss, fame, defame, praise and blame, pressure and pain. And I know that it's more than that. So when it comes to the teaching of the Buddha, one thing that every student should keep in mind, that every single teaching, if you really practice, it will lead you to be free from suffering. In other words, it will make your life happy and happier all the way up to the happiest level of happiness, or we can call Nibbana. That's the bottom line, whichever Dhamma that you put into practice. But if you study a lot of Dhamma and your life still suffering, that means you practice wrongly. Your view toward Dhamma, your view toward the Dhamma practice is incorrect, is improper, or we can call your will is incomplete when it comes to study and practicing the Dhamma. In this case, the Buddha talked about 8 of them, right? So start from the first 2. It's easier to go in pair. Loss and gain. What is loss and gain? Or gain and loss? Life has this kind of situation as always. Gain and loss, loss and gain, loss and gain. We may feel like, oh, this day the business is good. In the past 5 years, everything went well, has been going well, and there's nothing can guarantee that the business will continue to be well, to doing well. There may be something that happened down the road of your business journey. So the Buddha gives us the idea to be prepared. Don't live life carelessly. During the time of COVID, many people lost their job. I have seen in the news many manager, many CEO, all of a sudden they don't have job because of the situation of the COVID-19. So some of them have to work on something else. For example, driving taxi, selling noodle on the street. They have to do whatever it takes to survive in the situation of the COVID-19. Cannot work in the company, cannot work for the salary. The company went bankruptcy. So many business, have to went out of business, so they cannot survive, right? So that called gain and loss. It happened all the time. It happened to many of us, and in fact, I think it happened to all of us. Gain and loss, gain and loss. It's not just the material things. You think of relationship, right? Sometimes okay, sometimes not okay. There is a win, there is a lose. This is the worldly wind that keep hitting us, keep it's come to our life on and off, on and off. If we are lucky, or to be specific, if we have a lot of merit, a lot of bun, okay, our life would be in the good situation, right? Most likely, just like you travel in the smooth way. There's no obstacle. You go smoothly. You achieve the goal as you expect. But for some people, it's like up and down, up and down, up and down. Today business good, next month not good, and the next 3 months okay again, on and off all the time. And that's about loss and gain. So when you gain something, you don't be careless. The Buddha teach us more than this. He teach us to not only to accumulate wealth, he also teach us to secure our wealth for this life and for the future life too. And that's the beauty of the teaching of the Buddha, which we cannot find in other doctrine or teacher out there. We'll get to that in a moment after we complete all of this. The second group is called fame and defame. This one is interesting, but if you read the text in English, from my experience that I try to dig deep into this particular sutra, you cannot find something deeper than this, just fame and defame. But if you go back to the Pali, you will notice that the word fame is not just good credibility. There are two dimensions. First, we can think of fame as you have a good credibility, right? You're a man of good credit. But the second meaning of fame, it's about you have a good subordinate, good people in your life. There are two kinds of fame. If you observe precept, people recognize you that, hey, you are a man of precept. You are a man of your word. This person is good. I like to work with him. I like to do business with him. I like to hang out with him because he's a good man. So you are famous in a way that you have good credibilities, that people can rely on you, people can trust you. Another meaning of fame, like I said, you have a good subordinate. Some people, may be good person, but he lack of good subordinate. He lack of good teamwork. He lack of good spouse. He lack of good kids or good children. He may be a good father, but children is very unobedient. They don't listen to the father. They always bring problem to the family, and that's two dimension. If you want to put into practice, you need to understand both dimension. Then you can practice yourself, and then you can prepare right for the future if you want to develop the idea of having good fame. Okay. Again, just to summarize, it's about you having good credibilities. That's number one. Second one is about you having good people in your life. That's called two kind of fame. And fame can turn to be defame, right? You can one day you can lose your credibilities for some reason. Right? Let's use the same example. During the COVID-19, after the company has been doing very well, make good money, and during the COVID-19, the company may have lost profit, less and less customer. If you were the restaurant owner, you may be thinking of, hey, you know what, maybe I can just, cheat a little bit, increase the price a little bit, remove the quality, lower the quality a little bit. And later on, your credibility get lost. People will recognize you that, hey, you are a man, you are not an honest man as I think. Then you lose your credibility. It become defame. and that is hard to bring it back. And how can we protect fame? How can we guard or secure our fame or credibility? We learn a lot of Dhamma, right? And the Buddha did teach about this. How can we secure our wealth? How can we secure our fame or credibilities? Well, I'll answer this in a moment. Let's move on to the next one because they go together. This one is called praise and blame. Praise and blame. Praise, we understand. We like it. When someone says something good, someone like the work that we do, someone give us the thumb up, we like it. We smile. We happy, right? But on the other hand, if someone blame what you do, someone they don't like what you do, or someone gossip you, say something bad behind your back, what do? This one, you smile, I like it. This one, you don't like it. In the morning, you go to the office, the boss call you in the meeting room, everyone praise you, wow, you make a lot of sale this month. You are the salesman of the month. We like your work. You're being praised in front of your teammate. You are so happy. After you left the room, someone start talking behind your back. Oh, the reason he, become the salesman of the month because, his father is rich, his family buy his product, this and that. People start to talk something bad behind your back right after you left the room. And when you hear that later, you are upsetting, right? You are upsetting. Happiness, sadness, smiling, crying is on and off. This is life. So back to the question, how can you protect your fame? How can you protect your credibility? Fame and defame, praise and blame. How can you protect people from blaming you, from gossiping you? Can you do that? Or is there any way to prevent this from happening? Or there is no way because of this is the world that we're living in. No matter how hard you try, people are going to blame you anyway. So the teaching of the Buddha, like I said, we need to put into practice correctly and completely. Then we can be safe, right? So how about start from observing 5 precepts? Guard your precept. For how long? For the rest of your life. Whether you work in a company, whether you live life as a layperson, become a father, a boss, a son, doesn't matter who you are. If you start off with guarding your precept, observing 5 precepts, that's the starting point for you to protect your credibilities. You are a kind person. You're not stealing stuff. You don't have the tendency to have a sexual misconduct. You are always telling the truth, telling something that beneficial. You are a man of consciousness because you're not a drunkard, smoker, this and that. So start from observing precept. Then, it's gonna secure your credibility in the long run. Same thing with praise as well. The reason people praise you because they trust you, because they like the way you work, they like the way you do things, they like the way you make decisions, they like your personalities, right? That's why you're being praised. And when you know that you are a likable person, people like you, you should also come back to this principle. You know what? From now on, I'm in the eye of them. I get attention from all of them in the family or in the company. So I'm gonna have to protect my credibility more. I'm gonna observe precept more. I'm gonna meditate more. And that's something you should take into consideration. Why is this become a problem? If you being praised, you okay, right? You like it. But if you get blamed by someone, whether small or big, nobody like it because we have something called ego. We don't like it. Especially if you're subordinate, someone younger than you, correct you something, give you some information that you make a mistake or you can do better than this. If that happen, can you accept that advice? Or you just gonna get mad when a man who is younger than you, who may be your employee, that says something to you like that? When you study, the more you study the teaching in the Tipitaka, the more you will appreciate the teaching of the Buddha and the great monk in the past. In one time, Venerable Sariputta, who happened to be the wise man, second after the Buddha, right? As we know, one of his students, the Samanen, said, Venerable, today something wrong with your dress. You can dress better than this. Sariputta was stopped by that suggestion from the novice. Without getting mad, he welcomed that suggestion and he stopped, he fixed his dress, adjust the dress, and then move on and do his thing. But for us, can we do that? Say, hey, you just a novice. Why? Don't say something like that to me. I'm your teacher, right? But Sariputta, his mind is like very uncheckable. He welcomed the suggestion from the novice, get adjust his dress, and then continue to do his thing. And that's the Arahant people. For us, it's not easy. The last one is called pleasure. The Pali call sukha, and the pain. We familiar with this term, dukkha, sukha, and dukkha. English use many terms: pleasure, desirable, dukkha, pain, or undesirable. There are many terms that use. But if we check from the Pali, we get to the authentic vocabulary that use the sukha and the dukkha. This probably cover everything that we just talk about, right? Loss and fame. When we lost, we don't like it. When we gain, we like it. When we have fame, we like it. When we have defame, we don't like it. Someone discredit us. When we get praised, we like it. When we get blamed, we don't like it. Sukha and dukkha, sukha and dukkha. And this can be divided into two groups. The group of desirable, the group of undesirable of this worldly condition. The first group, gain, everyone like it. Fame or yassa, we like it. Praise, of course we like it. Happiness, we like it. But we not always get what we want, right? And that's the teaching in the Four Noble Truth. We not always get what we want, and that's one of the reasons why we are suffering. On this side, we have loss, we have defame, disgrace, we have blame or gossip, we have pain or dukkha. It's about feeling, right? It's about vedana that happening to all of us. The only person or the only group of people in this world that not affected by this worldly condition or the worldly wind are the Buddhas and the great Arahant in the past. Other than that, you and me, ordinary people who walk down this earth, we are affected by this eight worldly condition every single moment in life. The question is, how do we deal with them? The teaching of the Buddha, like I said, always beautiful. He always gives us the solution. So we must pay attention. Then we can put into practice when we get hit by this kind of wind or this kind of condition. There are friends that I know, he cannot accept when someone gossiping him behind his back. When he realized that, someone talked about something bad about me, and he no longer be able to meditate. Just give up everything. Just cannot accept that someone say something bad about me. You see, if you think of you are a man of Dhamma, you are a man of precept, you are a meditator, you feel like you are strong, you have been practice meditation for years, you have been study Dhamma for years, and all of a sudden, someone says something bad to you, you don't like it, and you give up everything. I'm not worth it. I don't like it. I don't like what he said. Your mind become crowded, and you quit doing good. Stop meditation, stop reading Dhamma book. Just allow the mind or life flow along with the defilements, greed, hatred, delusion. I'm not gonna go meditate. I'm just gonna sit here and watch movie all day long. Just giving up. Please don't be like that. This is the worldly condition. You have come this far. You are advanced Dhamma student. You should know how to deal with this. Okay, so now let's see how the Buddha teach us to deal with this. I like this sutra. It's not long, but it's quite very rich with useful information. Gain and loss, fame and disgrace, blame and praise, pleasure and pain. These qualities, all of this, among people are impermanent, transient, and perishable. Transient means they don't live long. It come and go. The impermanent, we familiar with that. Impermanent means changing moment to moment. That's the meaning of impermanent. And perishable, right? You think of vegetable. You leave it outside the fridge. After 1 or 2 hours, it's gone. It's turned bad. It's perishable. So all of these qualities, all this Dhamma, they possess 3 of these qualities. They are impermanent, they are transient, and they are perishable. What's the benefit of us knowing this? He said, an intelligent or wise and mindful, a person who has sati, person knows that these things, seeing that they are perishable, Desirable things don't disturb their mind, nor are they repelled by the undesirable. In other words, whether positive or negative that come and hit you, that you are facing, it doesn't bother you. They don't disturb the mind. They don't disturb their mind, the mind of wise people. So if we still get disturbed by this thing, positive, negative stimuli, and if we like something, we smile, we don't like something, we cry. That means we're not wise, right? We need more education. We need more sati or mindfulness. We need to practice more of this. Both favoring and opposing are clear and ended. They are no more. Knowing the stainless, sorrowless state, they who have gone beyond rebirth understand rightly. That's why I said earlier, only the Buddha and the Arahant, a great monk in the past, they don't get disturbed by this worldly wind or worldly condition. But for us, we see something we like, the mind feel joy, happy, and crave for more. We see something we don't like, we hate it, we run away from it, or we want to destroy it. My question to you is, let's summarize this. In this worldly condition, 8 of them, right? Desirable, whether both desirable and undesirable, gain, loss, fame, defame, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. They come with these 3 qualities. Number 1, they are impermanent. Number 2, they transcend. They come and go. Number 3, they don't last forever. They're perishable. When you are happy, can you keep that happiness all day long? Can you keep the same happiness for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 1 month? Or when you feeling painful with something, you lost someone you love, can you hold on that pain from losing something or someone you love for the rest of your life? Life is filled with stimuli. Every day the mind is bombarding with positive and negative all the time. They don't last long. That's why they call Vedana. Vedana or feeling. Feeling is a part of the 5 aggregate, right? They don't last long. They come and go. In the morning, you feel upset about something. Maybe, let's say, you may lost your job. You love your job. You're a CEO. You run the company for many years. All of a sudden, the board of management said that, you know what, we're going to fire you for some reasons. You came home very upset, very sad, don't know what to do, have family to take care of. You have credibilities in the society. People recognize you as, one of the best businessmen. And all of a sudden, you lost your job. You lose your faith. You upset. You have no way out. You don't know what to do. But in the late afternoon, you bought one lottery maybe. And it happened to be your lucky day. And that day you win that lottery. All of a sudden, from being sad, being upset in the evening, you win, let's say, maybe 100 million. By winning that, lucky number, you become a millionaire at the end of the day. So you forget all the sadness that's happening in the morning. I don't care about the company. Tomorrow I'm not going to work. I'm going to spend the money that I have. I'm going to travel the world. You see your emotion change because you receive the different stimuli, right? Different situation that you are facing. Okay. My question to you is, this is the keyword that the Buddha gave us the hint. He did not say explicitly. The mind, the good mind, is the mind that don't disturb whether positive stimuli or negative stimuli that come to you, right? Praise, blame, fame and defame, pleasure and pain, gain and loss. They're positive, they're negative. The good mind here, or the mind of the wise person, they don't disturb by this thing, positive or negative. The question is, how can we do that? What kind of Dhamma that we should put into practice in order for us to be able to do this or keep the mind in this condition? The good news is we learn already. But the question is, do you remember? This is the one. We have the 7 factors of enlightenment that we learn. All of this. And the last one we learn upekha, right? Equanimity. Upekha. Upekha play a very important role in many levels of Dhamma practice. In order for someone to reach the 4th level of jhana, he cannot achieve the 4th level of jhana without developing the upekha. You think of the jhana, right? Jhana 1, jhana 2, jhana 3, jhana 4. There are always equanimity listed in the jhana level 4. And here in the 7 factor, we also, there is something called equanimity or ubekha that's come after samadhi. And then go after this is called yatha bhuta, to start seeing things the way they are. And then go to vimutti, to liberation. So ubekha is the factor that play this super important role from samadhi to realization of the truth. Ubekha is the mind that balance is the balanced mental state. It accepting as it is, yatha bhuta, without craving or without aversion. Another meaning of ubekha is mean looking into. It look into that without being disturbed by craving or by aversion. And here, this is craving, this is aversion. Both favoring or craving, drive by craving, and opposing. I don't like it. I don't like it. Of course, it's aversion, it's hatred, right? For wise people, it doesn't matter. They go beyond that. The mind don't get disturbed by these two things, like or don't like. So dubekha is the quality that everyone should keep in mind, and to see if you can put this into practice in your day-to-day life. Ubekha is about ability to let go. Let go what? Let go an unwholesome state of mind. Let go I like, let go I don't like. Let go the sense of self. When you have the sense of self, you will be facing suffering. When you get something you like, you laugh, you joy. And when you lose that thing, you start to cry again. This is the life of ordinary people just like us. Okay? So let me end this topic with this. You may be wondering, how can I secure this for this life and for the future life? Okay, I have this for you. Just capture from this Pojana Sutra. Having given life, let's say you giving life, giving strength, giving beauty, giving happiness, and discernment. One is long live. If you want to live long, and if you want to be famous, wherever one is born, this is the Buddha give us the practical way to secure our good future or good fortune. By doing this, it will yield the result which lead you to live long life and have a good credibility. You give what you get. Let's say you're offering food to the monk, you give life to the monk, you give strength to the monk, you give beautiful to the monk. And I mean, without food, right, the body cannot last. Like the skin will be deteriorate, and after eating that food, the monk is happy, and the monk can study Dhamma to develop his wisdom. So all of this, just by offering one meal to the monk, you gain all of this. It lay down the pathway for you to live long and to be famous, and that's according to the teaching of the Buddha in this particular sutra. Okay, so if you want to be a good businessman and secure your wealth, whatever business you're doing in the future, and you want that business to continue to prosper and success, the idea is you need to find a way to give. The more you give, the more you get. Don't be stingy. Okay, that's the rule. That's the law of karma, which not many people know, and nobody teach something like this in the business school. Only in Buddhism. Okay, so we move on to the second topic today, the Noble Eightfold Path. I think today maybe it's a review session, because the Four Noble Truth and the Noble Eightfold Path, I believe that should be the topic that everyone's familiar with and confident with. But let's see if you can have some, let's see if I can add some new information for you in this lecture. The Noble Eightfold Path, start from the name, the Makha. The Noble Eightfold Path. Why it's called noble? Eightfold Path imply that there are 8 things, right? The 8 things on this path, that there are 8 things that make this path available, and this path is called noble. The reason it's called noble, there are several ideas behind these terms. Noble can mean that it enable us, someone who walk down this path, to be a noble person. If you start walking down this path, if you start get on the path today, you are on your way to be an noble person. From ignoble to be noble. From ignorant man to be someone who realized the truth later on down the path. And another idea of noble means it distance you away from the unwholesome path. Indeed, it distance you away from the defilements. If you practice the Noble Eightfold Path, your life will be further and further away from the unwholesome quality of mind or the defilements from day one that you start walk down this path. And that's the idea, and that's the meaning of the noble. So the idea of the noble eightfold path is the path or the blueprints or the guideline that leads us to realize nibbana, that leads anyone who walk down this path to realize nibbana. Whether you a monk or a lay person, we can apply the same approach by practice the eightfold path. But eightfold path has many levels as well. And let me start from this. When we study the Four Noble Truths, which appear in the first teaching in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha not just explain what they are, what is dukkha, what is samudaya, what is nirodha, and what is makkha. He also give us the idea of, hey, we have responsibility for each particular noble truth. The truth of dukkha, the responsibility is to understand, to be comprehend, to understand. Dukkha can refer to problem, right? When you have problem, you don't have to be sad. Your job is to understand what caused that problem. That's what it means. And the second noble truth is called samudaya, or the cause of suffering. The responsibility for the cause of suffering is very clear, to be abandoned. If you know that this caused your life problem, you should abandon. You should avoid doing that. You know that smoking is bad, drinking alcohol is bad. You shouldn't be getting involved with smoking, drinking, gambling, because you know it's bad. And how come people still doing that? Because they don't practice the Four Noble Truths fully. Their wisdom is not enough. So they still trapped in the realm of craving to do things that harm themselves and harm others. And the responsibility for the third noble truth, or the nirodha, nirodha is the ending of suffering, is to be realized. Hey, this problem can fix. If you have health problem, because you drink too much, you smoke too much, this problem can be fixed. The way to fix is called the makkha, right? Is to be developed. You should develop. You start take charge of your life. You know what? Tomorrow I'm gonna stop doing this, stop smoking, stop drinking. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go to exercise 3 times a week. That's how you fix the problem in your life. But today we focus on this one, the makkha, or the path that lead to the cessation of the root cause of suffering, or tanha. The makkha is to be developed, okay? To be developed. And what you learn today is for you to develop, not for you to just know, oh, okay, I know. I memorized them all, and I think I'm going to pass the exam too. No, that's not the purpose of you learning all of this. It's about you develop them so you can be happy. If you want to be a happy man, happy father, happy wife, happy husband, happy employee, everyone's, including, if you are a monk or novices, you have to put the Eightfold Path into practice on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't mean that we will realize Nibbana tomorrow after we start practicing or start walking down this path. No, but as you walk down this path every day, you are a happy being on earth. Your happiness will increase, and you will continue to improve your happiness level every day if you put Dhamma into practice. And one day you will realize the ultimate form of happiness or Nibbana later on, when your mind is free from the defilement. That's why it's called noble, because the further you walk down the path, the further you are away from the unwholesome state of mind or the defilement in your mind. If you become a Buddhist, or you don't consider yourself Buddhist, but you practice the teaching of the Buddha, you practice precept, you observe precept, you meditate, and you study Dhamma. Let's say you're doing this for 5 years. And if you look back from day one that you start doing this until now 5 years, and you notice that, hey, my life is happier. I feel better about life. I have passion to live life. I have passion to do good and help others to be good. That's a good way. That's called realization that, hey, the Noble Eightfold Path is good. I'm going to keep walking down this path. I'm going to keep continue observing precept. Perhaps add more precept to my life. From 5, I'm going to go to 8 precept. If I'm a man, perhaps one day I will become a monk. Let's see if I'm observing more precept to see what happened to my life. It gives you more confidence about the path, about the sila or precept, about the meditation. You've been sitting for 5 years, you feel this much of happiness, you feel this much of confidence. What if you continue to sit for another 5 years? Your confidence level, your happiness level will be automatically increased. That definitely will be happening if you walk down the path. Just continue to continue your journey until you reach the end of the destination. It shouldn't be opposite. Okay, I've been studying Dhamma 5 year, meditation 5 years, observing precept 5 year, but my life still, so much suffering, so much pain, headache. Something is wrong in your practice. You may have to take a moment to pause and look at how you practice the Dhamma. If the longer you walk down the path, the selfish you become, that means you practice the Dhamma incorrectly. This is the path of selfishness. You have less and less and less selfish as you walk down the path until you get to the final destination where you feel like, hey, there is no me, there is no mind, there is no self. And that's something quite advanced that you will realize later on down this journey by yourself. So the Noble Eightfold Path composed of 8 factors: the right view or right understanding, the right intention, the right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Sound familiar, right? We can group them into 3 headings, and that help us to study them easier. Into these 3 groups, the right view and right intention can group them into the group of wisdom or panya. The right speech, right action, and right livelihood, we can group them into the group of sila, or the moralities, or the virtuous conduct. For the group of effort, mindfulness, and concentration, we can group them into the group of samadhi, or collectedness, or immersion, or concentration. There are several terms that can be used. The Eightfold Path, when it shrink to the 3, it can be shrink to the 3-4 training. We call Trisikha. The Sikha of wisdom, the Sikha of precept, the Sikha of mind. Samadhi is about developing the mind, right? And sometimes you see some texts they use the wisdom, sila, and mind, which mean the same thing. There are many ways to develop the quality of the mind. Samadhi is one of them. Loving kindness, forgiveness, there are many ways to do that. But the most outstanding way to develop the quality of the mind is called samadhi. So start from number 1, the right view, samma titti. You hear the word samma all the time in front of them. Samma titti. Samma followed by titti. Titti means view or understanding. The word samma has several meanings. Okay, usually it's something wholesome, something good, or proper, rightly, thoroughly. This is the idea of the meaning of the word samma. So when you put samma in front of titti, sometimes we translate to right view or right understanding, proper view or proper understanding, correct view or correct understanding, wholesome view or wholesome understanding, good view or good understanding. It depends which vocabulary that makes sense to you. What is right view then? Right view, remember, right view and right intention, they fall into the group of panya or wisdom. Panya or wisdom. And this is a starting point for a man who walks down this path. This is the starting point for a man who wants to become a monk, to realize Nibbana fast. I don't want to live life down there as a lay person, because of wisdom, because of his view toward the life in the realm of sense pressure is different from another man. He sees some drawbacks living life as a lay person. So he abandoned, he leave everything behind and get on the expressway of life to become a monk, to realize Nibbana, in the fast track. And that is because of view. Buddha said right view is the starting point of all success in life. Success and happiness in life start from having the right view, proper view, good view, wholesome view. Oppositely, dukkha and suffering, unhappiness, starting from the wrong view. Because with right view, what follow? When you have view, then your thinking follow, which is called right intention, right? Right view, you think, oh, I should become a monk. Then your thinking said, your view said, oh, becoming a monk is good, simple life, have more time to meditate, observe precept, and perhaps one day realize Nibbana. Oh, life of a monk is good. That's your view. And then your thinking follow, you know what? I should perhaps ordain one time in my life, so I can experience, the good life, the life of similar to the life of the Buddha. And when your view change, your thinking change according to the view, and then your behavior will change accordingly to what you think. It become your action, it become your speech, And that's because your will, the starting point is because of you have the right view. So in other words, if we can keep it simple, the right view is the view that helps you to clarify, to clear, to clear one's path of misunderstanding, confusion, deluded thinking, and inspire one to lead a virtuous life. In the broader sense, that's what it means by the right view. You know that what caused you suffering, you avoid doing that. You know what caused you happiness, you doing that. You know that alcohol is bad, your view toward alcohol, you know what alcohol is bad. I will not get involved with alcohol, smoke, gambling for the rest of my life. And not only that, I will not support anyone in my life circle to get involved with those things because they are bad. And that is view. That is called the right view. You know what caused you suffering, and you know, not only you know, you make decision or you set intention that you will not do that. You only do what causes you happiness, what causes merit, what gives rise to wholesome state of mind. Other than that, you will not do it. You know the consequence clearly. What's the consequence of killing someone, stealing something from someone, sexual misconduct, telling a lie? You know the consequence. Then you will observe precept. Keep your precept clean. No matter how difficult of the situation that you are facing, you will not break precept. That's the right view. And there are two levels of right view. There are two levels of right view. We can call the mundane right view and the supramundane right view. The mundane right view, you know how to take good care of yourself. You know what's good, what's bad, what caused you suffering, what caused you happiness, what caused your life to be better, what caused your life to be destructive. Then you don't get involved. That's the mundane right view. What about the supramundane right view? Now, if you check the text you mentioned, the Four Noble Truth. This is what the Buddha mean by right view. To understand fully of the Four Noble Truth, to know that there is something called dukkha, to know what caused dukkha. Basically, you know all of this. This is the supramundane right view. You know that there is suffering. The suffering should be understood. And suffering, I have understood. And you know there is a cause of suffering which point to tanha, right? Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. There is something that caused that suffering. And the cause of suffering should be abandoned. And I have abandoned all of them. And there is something called nirodha. This suffering can be ended. It should be realized. And I have realized that fully. And there is a path that leads to the end of suffering, which should be developed. And I myself have developed them fully. This is the supramundane right view. When someone can do this, when someone can proclaim that I have done all of this, this is called 3 round and 12 aspect. When it comes to the reflection of the Four Noble Truth, and that person can proclaim that I have awakened to the truth, I am achieved enlightenment. So every single Buddha go through the same path and achieve the same thing and realize the same thing, which is this one. So if we still cannot do this, that means we still have a lot of work to do when it's come to the supramundane right view. Okay, we can talk about this a little bit. What is the mundane right view? Just a little bit. If you want to go deep in the teaching of the Noble Eightfold Path, I suggest you to check out the Majjhima Nikaya 117. Usually people don't talk about this, about mundane right view, supramundane right view, mundane right intention, supramundane right intention. But in this teaching, the Buddha go deep, that not many people have gone that far to understand that, hey, there's something called the mundane right view too. Hey, there's something called the mundane right intention too. Check it out on your own time if you have time. If you want to put into practice right away, the Buddha talk about 10 things when it's come to the idea of the right view. For example, there is the result of giving, there is a result of offering, there is a result of sacrifice, there is something called the law of karma. You do good, you get good. If people who believe in the law of karma, that person has the right view. Whatever you give, there is a result of your giving. You give food to the dog, you give food to the prisoner, you give food to the monk. There always the consequence of that giving. There's a result of offer. Offer means you rendering a service to the communities. When there's an earthquake, volcanoes, flooding, you reach out and help them. There is the consequence of helping others. The sacrifice, we're talking about the ceremony and ritual that pay gratitude to the Buddha. You're offering the candle, you're offering the flower to the pagoda, you pay homage to the Buddha relics. There's some ceremony called the Thatu Puja, where people pay respect to the Buddha relics. The Buddha is not there, right? It's just his relics. But that ceremony, there's still some consequence if people do that with faith in the teaching of the Buddha, in the teacher. There's a consequence. There are 10 things on the list. But most important thing is about the karma. You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. And that's called the right view that anybody can put into practice right away. It's like helping you to think before you do things, because everything you do has consequence. And that's called right view. And by having right view, I think the world can be at peace, or can be more peace, because people will be aware of their own action, what they're about to do, what they're about to say to others. Okay, there's a consequence of you taking care of your parents, mom and dad. Someone said, oh, you know what, my dad never took care of me. I never saw him since I was born. So why would I help him? That's wrong view, according to the teaching of the Buddha. The Buddha said, this is wrong view and this is right view. So we should keep that in mind. There is something called the right view, according to the teaching of the Buddha too. So now let's move on to the right intention. With right view, right intention follow. Samma sankappa. With right view, right intention follow. And this is what it's appear in the text. What is meant by samma sankappa, or right intention? The text said intention of renunciation, intention of non-ill, intention of non-harmful or avihingsa. That's it. There are 3 things on the list. What does it mean? And how can we put them into practice? These 2 things, it's not so difficult to understand. Intention, the thinking of non-ill, right? So you think of loving kindness. Okay. Everyone's born suffering. We have greed, hatred, delusion. We make mistake all the time. When someone making a mistake, let's find a way to forgive them. Don't harm them. What about non-harmful? This is the idea of non-violence. This is the thinking of non-violence. The thinking of don't take the solution that lead by or drive by violence, or end up having a problem, more and more problem. Non-harmful. So you develop compassion. Cruelty, right? You develop compassion. This is the thinking of having loving kindness and compassion toward all beings. And that's understandable. What about intention of renunciation? Why this one is considered right intention? Do I have to be the monk to following this practice, to following this Dhamma? Do everyone have to ordain and become a monk in order for everyone to practice the right intention? Is this the intention to become a monk? The Buddha never said everyone should become a monk, then you will be happy. He never said that. Renunciation come in another dimension, another meaning. If renunciation like this picture, that's okay. Okay, I see something wrong here, I want to become a monk, and that's called renunciation. And that's considered right view too. Perfect, you get 10 score out of 10 score when it comes to the right view of renunciation. What about your wife? What about your children? Do they have to become a monk too to practice the right intention? Probably not, right? Or you yourself, maybe you cannot be a monk for life. And when you disrobe and come back to your world, how can you practice the right intention? So right intention is about intention to let go greed. That's why when a man become a monk, right, he leave everything behind. He leave the sense pleasure behind. He search for the refined form of happiness. So renunciation is the antidote for greed, for sense pleasure. That's one meaning of the word renunciation. But in general, we can think of renunciation as the idea of let go. Let go what? Again, let go the sense of self, bit by bit, whether you are a layperson or you are a monk. Let go the sense of self, because the sense of self, this is the root cause of suffering, the 5 aggregate. That's why the Buddha teach the concept of 5 aggregate, to help us to identify that, hey, there is no you in you. There is no you in yourself. It's just the phenomena. It's just the conditioned phenomena. So the renunciation in this case is about you practice of letting go of the idea of self. So you can read this later on. I will send you to the group this 5 later. This is a little bit of elaboration version of the idea of right intention. It involves the mind free from whatever qualities that are wrong, immoral, such as lust, ill will, hatred, selfishness, cruelty, to think toward non attachment, renunciation, loving kindness, harmlessness, and as opposed to the selfishness, ill will, cruelty, and to consider the plight of others with sympathy and understanding. Okay, this is a longer version of the idea of the right intention. You have the good will, you should have the good intention too, good thinking, and good thinking come from what you understand about life, right? You understand that there is a defilement, greed. We should find way to deal with greed, to lessen the greed by renunciation, by let go, by give, by donate. We should develop a mind, have an intention toward the non-ill will by develop loving kindness. And again, we should develop the mind to have less harmful, less violence by develop the compassion, to practice the compassion. And that's the right intention. Now we move to the second group, right? We did talk about the first group, this one, the yellow one, the right view and right intention. With right view and right intention, then right speech, right action, right livelihood follow. Now it's about your action, right? What you do, what you say, and what you do, what you say, and how you live your life. This is called right. This is called the group of sila: right speech, right action, and right livelihood. The right speech. This one you must familiar with them because they appears in the 5 precept, right? The precept number 4, right speech, samma vacha, or proper speech, or harmonious speech. The abstinence from false speech, from divisive speech, from harsh speech, from idle speech, false speech, divisive speech to break people into 2 groups. Harsh speech, something impolite, and the idle speech, something unbeneficial. That's called samma vacha, which everyone seem to understand and practice them, already about the precept number 4. If you observe 5 precept, this is something you already been doing. And how to practice the right speech, the samma vacha. Remember the teaching of the Buddha about helping us lessen the suffering in life. As we go through life day-to-day basis, many problems come from conversation, the wrong speech. Someone says something bad to someone says something without being mindful to someone, and then they feel regret later, and that conversation lead to conflict later. So it happened very easy, it happened very quickly, and that's the consequence of that bad saying may last a very long time. Sometimes we still remember when someone says something bad to us 10 years ago. It's still hurtful if we think of that action long time ago. That's what happened with the wrong speech. So how do we develop this? The Buddha suggests that when you say something, you think of these 4 elements. Do you speak from the kind heart, loving kindness? You wish other well, and what you're about to say is the truth? Do they beneficial? And is it the right timing to say? When all of this in place, then you say it. If not, you may think about it a little bit, or you may even put it on hold. Then you can talk about it later on. I think in Thailand, even in my family, when the parents want to condemn or suggest their son when the son did something wrong, the parent usually don't do it before bedtime. There's a reason for that. And it is strongly recommended. Don't condemn your children before bedtime. It's not the right timing to say something like that. You, as a parent, you can put this on hold and talk to the son or the daughter tomorrow, maybe after breakfast or maybe after dinner later on, not tonight. You see, it's about having the right timing. Even though you love them, what you're about to correct them is the truth and benefit for them, but it's wrong timing. Then don't do it. Okay? If you're the boss, you know what to say and when to say and how to say it. And that's help you to lessen the conflict in your company, in your family too. And that's the right speech, following by the right action. Right action, samma kammanta. Kammanta means action. This also look familiar, right? Abstaining from destruction of life or killing or taking life, which is the first precept. Abstinence from taking what is not given or stealing, the second precept. Abstinence from sexual misconduct, this is the third precept. The first, the second, the third, and this is the fourth precept. So by observing 5 precepts, you already practice, Samma Vacha, right speech, and the Samma Kammanta already. This is called Samma Kammanta or right action. Another one is called right livelihood. Samma Ajiva or career. Samma Ajiva or right livelihood. The livelihood or the career that's not involved in the 3 bodily action and the 4 verbally action. Killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. You're telling a lie or not the truth, harsh speech, divisive speech or nonsense speech. So in general, this is what it means. And another meanings, you need to think of the career that doesn't lead your life to suffering, to the road of suffering. You put these 2 things into consideration. Your job that you do, is it legal and ethical? Some job is legal but unethical, right? You're selling alcohol is legal by law. Selling some kind of drug this day is more accessible to those drugs. It's legal but it's unethical. People make a lot of money selling alcohol comparing to selling just food. The restaurant that sell alcohol make a lot of money than the restaurant that doesn't sell alcohol. Is it worth doing it? This kind of business. Legal and ethical, we need to keep that in mind. As the Dhamma study student, now it's come to you to make the decision, right? That you should practice the Noble Eightfold Path by make sure that you work in the right livelihood. You make a living according to the right livelihood, the teaching of the Buddha. Not only is legal, but it's also ethical in your career. Like I said, selling alcohol, selling drug is ethical. Is it ethical? No, it's not, right? Even though it's legal, you have to be careful. Here, another interesting thing here I like to mention here is you may having a right career like this man. He is a teacher, policeman, the doctor, the lawyer, the teacher, engineer. This consider the right livelihood. It's legal and it's ethical. You have a chance to educate your student. You have a chance to add morality element to the life of your student too. Teach them to be smart. Teach them to be ethical. This career is perfect. Is a teacher. But if the teacher who have the right livelihood, he may not have the right action. If he doesn't prepare for the class, if he's always late for the class, if he neglect his students, that's not, he may have the right career, but he don't practice the right action in his career. If a man were a doctor, his job is supposed to treat all the patients equally, whether rich or poor. But some doctor open up the clinics aiming at to make more money out of his time. So maybe he just give 5 minutes to each patient. Just come, give the medicine prescription, and next patient come and give prescription. Don't even touch the patients to save time so he can have more patients, so he can make more money at the end of that day. Even though he has the right career or right livelihood, it doesn't mean he has the right action. The doctor should do his best to find the problem in the patient. What caused that symptom? Check thoroughly before make decision to give the treatment or the cure to the patient, right? Not just, oh, you know what, it's okay, nothing serious, just take this medicine and go home. If it doesn't work, come back to me next week. That is not right action at all. Okay, so make sure you practice this. And one of the experience that I have, when I was getting in line in the airport, there's a long line on that evenings, and every immigration officer was standing in line, and with the long line, they very stressful job. They start yelling to the traveler, the passenger, get in line, remove your shoe, remove your belt, and just keep on yelling. I noticed that there was one officer standing on the left, and she always smiling, relaxed, greet every single one that passed through her her channel. Where are you going? Have a safe trip. Have fun. Come back again. That's how she worked. This is called right action, right? This is called right action. And when someone practice right action in their right livelihood, in their right career, they make more merit every day because their mind is pure, their mind is kind, they develop loving kindness. You see? The first one that we learn, this is about you let go, right? You develop loving kindness, you develop compassion to every single life that comes past to you. It's called right intention. So the Noble Eightfold Path is maybe deeper than we may understand. So we need to put them into practice simultaneously, not just I'm just gonna observe precept. I'm not practice mindfulness or meditation. That's not how it works. Okay, so we finished the two group already. Now we move to the last group, the group of mind or the mind development or the samadhi. Because samma start from the right effort. Samma vayama. Sometimes you hear the word energy or perseverance. Samma vayama. And this is what appears in the text. It talk about wholesome, unwholesome, unwholesome and wholesome. To prevent the arising of unwholesome state. To abandon wholesome state that have already arisen. In other words, if you know that this is bad, you make sure that this bad thing don't get to you. If you know that you have this bad thing in you, bad habit like laziness, telling a lie not on time, you make sure that you get rid of them. You don't observe precept. You know this is bad. You should observe precept. Then you develop that. So the third one is about you arouse the wholesome state that have not yet arisen. Like I said, you never been observing precept. And you should develop that. You should adopt the precept into your life. And once you become a man of precept, you should secure that, maintain and perfect that precept for the rest of your life, that wholesome state of your mind for the rest of your life. That's the idea of right effort. To keep it simple, right effort is about you make an effort to make sure the mind is in clear and calm state, moment to moment. When you notice that your mind attention move to something crowded, something unwholesome, have a lustful mind, agitated mind, angry mind, you know that the mind is unclear, unpure. The mind is at being agitated. When you know that, you bring it back. This is called right effort. Make an effort to regain the wholesome state of mind all the time. And that leads to the right mindfulness. All of these, they are interwoven. They go together. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. I will summarize at the end in a moment. The number 7 is right mindfulness, samma sati. Samma sati. Samma sati, if we look into the teaching, into the text, we only find the Buddha mentioned about the develop the 4 foundation of mindfulness, or the development of mindfulness through the body, the feeling, the mind, and the mind object. That's what you can find. There's not much detailed explanation. So here I share with you 3 points. The first is to be conscious of one's own thought, action, and speech, mindfulness. To remain focused on the body, the feelings, the mind, and the mind object. Not allow oneself to be overcome by discontent, fear, and anxieties. Like this, just to keep the mind in this state at all time. Remembering, right? This is the meaning of mindfulness. To bearing in mind, to remember how the mind attention move from one object to others. Move from what? Move from this. When the mind object or your mind attention move to greed, move to craving, move to anger, you notice that and bring it back. That's called samma sati. The sati that keep coming back to the clarity state of mind, the wholesome state of mind all the time. That's called samma sati. And this help the mind to prevent the defilement to take control your mind. If someone says something bad, by default, we would respond by instinct, right? We would say something bad to them right away because we don't like what they say to us. But if you are mindful, you recognize that, hey, I should keep the mind with the body. I should keep the mind clear and calm. I should keep the mind in a wholesome state. You remember that. That's your job each day as you go through life. So you remind yourself that I'm going to be mindful. I'm not going to say something bad to them. And you make an effort to keep the minds there. You make an effort to keep your mouth shut, not to say something bad to that person. And this is how mindfulness and how right mindfulness and right effort work together. So you can remain calm. You can continue to smile, even though the guy is still standing there saying something bad to you. This is the importance of sati. Whatever stream there are in this world, stream point to the defilement in this world. If you put the defilement, all of them, Doesn't matter how many of them in this world. Put them in front of you. If you are mindful, mindfulness is the constraint for them. That is the restraint from stream by wisdom. They are shut off. Wisdom again refer to what? To the sampachanya, right? Sampachanya, we learned that already in the first week. The Dhamma that protect, the Dhamma that's the virtue that the great virtue that support all kind of Dhamma practice, sati and sampachanya. When you are mindful, you have sati. When you have sati, you can catch the stream or the defilement that give rise into your mind in that particular moment. And when you are mindful, just like you hold that, you catch that, you put a pause button in your mind, and that give rise to the sampachanya or the wisdom to investigate what's going on. And usually, you will make a better decision, wholesome decision. You can bring the mind back to the breath, breathe in and breathe out a few times before you say things, before you do things. That's how mindfulness works. And the last one is called right concentration. This one, another difficult one and the most interesting one. The right mindfulness, the right concentration, samma samadhi. Samadhi can be immersion, right? Can be collectedness, can be the unification of mind. There are many meaning, many terms that's used when it comes to the words concentration or when it comes to the word samadhi. It's about you develop the quality of your own mind. There are many forms of meditation practice that we can use. But if you check in the text, when it comes to the right concentration, you will hear, you will see the text repeat itself with the word jhana. First jhana, second jhana, the third jhana, and the fourth jhana. That's what you can find in the text according to the teaching of the Noble Eightfold Path in the right concentration or the samma samadhi. Samma samadhi is the samadhi or the meditation that lead to nibbana. Just to keep it simple. If that meditation lead you to something else, that's not samma samadhi. It need to lead you to the purity of your mind. It need to lead you to the way to purify your mind. Greed, hatred, delusion. The more you practice that kind of meditation, the less of mental impurity left in your mind. That's what it means. So to cultivate the mind in the proper way, to practice the right method of meditation, the goal is to reach state of meditative absorption, known as the jhana, leading to the attainment or leading to the realization of nibbana. This is how it works, the right concentration. The meditation that lead to the purity of mind, that lead the mind to be free from defilements, or that lead the mind to realize nibbana, whatever term that you use. This is the idea. When someone realizes nibbana, that mind is completely or perfectly pure. That mind has no defilement left in the mind. That mind has no craving, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha left in the mind. So it's the same thing in the nibbana state that the mind can experience. So samma samadhi is here, right? The samadhi that lead to the realization of nibbana or to be free from the mental impurities. And to get to that samma samadhi, a man must develop sati or mindfulness. Without having sati, a man cannot have samadhi or concentration or the collectedness of mind. Sati comes first, mindfulness first. When we have mindfulness, then eventually we have a longer concentration, a longer of the collectiveness or the longer of immersion experience. But start from having right mindfulness first, the samma sati first. And with that, we also need the samma vayama or the right effort to make an effort to do what? Make an effort to keep bringing the mind back to the wholesome state of mind. When the mind go toward this crowded state of mind, with lust, with anger, with delusion, with sleepiness, with doubt, you know that the mind is not there as it's supposed to be. Then your job is to make an effort to bring the mind back. It doesn't matter how many times the mind go out. 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, doesn't really matter. As long as you are mindful, you can always bring it back. And when you bring it back, and the mind can stay longer, and that gives rise to the samadhi, the longer collectedness, the longer concentration. And that's how it works. How do you know you have the right samadhi? How do you know you have the right concentration or the right collectedness? What are the indicator telling us that we practice meditation correctly. Hope you still remember. Okay, let me give you the answer. It's good to go back and forth so you can connect the dot. Every slide that you learn, I hope you should go back and reflect on them often, okay? Because they are related. Here, this is the 7 factors. These are the 7 factors of enlightenment, right? We learned already. Sammasati first, right mindfulness first. You remember how your mind attention move to lust, move to anger. You bring it back. You bring it back to the wholesome state of mind. That's the job of mindfulness. So mindfulness can catch when the mind go out, and that it can investigate. Dhamma Vichaya. It investigate whether the body relax or not, the mind relax or not, what's happening in the mind. And you make an effort, see, Samma Vayama, diligent effort to keep the mind there. Go out again, bring it back. Relax in, bring it back. Go out second time, relax, bring it back. Go out the third time, relax, bring it back. You make an effort, keep on doing that to bring the mind back to the wholesome state of mind. And eventually the mind will be obedience. How do we know the mind become obedience? You feel something called piti. Actually, before piti, there's something called pramocha. We call pramod in Pali, pramocha. Pramocha is joy, right? Piti is rapture. I don't know if this translation is correct, deep happiness, because they talk about happiness, but in the different level of happiness. Pramocha, also joy. What's the difference between joy and rapture? We don't know, right? We don't know. Let's say you eat the food, the dish, let's say pad thai, you feel delicious. And when you eat pizza, you say pizza also delicious. The same word, but they're not the same deliciousness. Same thing with happiness. We use the word, different word, but it's the word that's try to explain experience. That's why it's difficult. Anyway, start from pramocha or joy, then it's go to piti. When it's receiving piti, another P is called passathi, the tranquilities of body and mind. And with passathi, now it lead to the samadhi. You see, samma samadhi happening because you are happy. Start from joy, then go to rapture, then go to passathi, tranquility of the body and mind. What happened after samadhi? Now you see upekha. What happened after upekha? Then the yatha bhuta, and then vimutti, right? You start to see things the way they are, and then you are liberated. And this is important to connect what we learn about the Noble Eightfold Path into practice, how a man can develop the mind through the meditation practice, to the mindfulness practice, to the right effort practice. This is how we do it. And when you do it correctly, happiness comes. All of this happen naturally. You cannot make it happen. You cannot force it to be happening. It must happen by itself naturally. When you are mindful, concentration will come naturally. You don't have to do anything. If you mindful long enough, then piti, pramocha will come, joy will come, rapture will come, passathi, the calm and body and mind will come, and then samadhi will come. They happen naturally. You don't have to do anything. Sit back and relax and just let it be. All right, that's all about the Noble Eightfold Path. We talk about right view, right intention already. With right view, right intention, then the right action follow. What we say, what we do follow, right? And that's also will lead us to the third group, which is the group of samadhi or the right concentration. Without having pure precept, a man cannot success in meditation practice. You just can't. If you just observe precept, but you neglect meditation, you cannot fully happy. You cannot fully enjoy your life. This is the advanced teaching of the Buddha. That's, he suggests us to practice all of this, simultaneously. Not just one thing. Not just study Dhamma, reading the books, but don't observe precept. Not just observe precept, but don't meditate. The Eightfold Path is designed to practice together. It's designed to be intensifying over and over and over like this. Not just one round. Over and over and over and over and over and over until there's no room left for defilements. There's no room left for ignorance in the mind. Today, you feel like you have the right view. You think Dhamma is good. You sign up for the class. Okay? The right thinking said, maybe I should take the class because I know Dhamma is good. And with that view, your thinking follow, I should study Dhamma. And now your action follow, I am study Dhamma now. So your view, you have the right view at the beginning, right? You have the view toward uh, precept. Precept is good. Giving donation is good. The dana, or I'm sorry, the precept, the dana, the meditation is good. This is your view. The teaching of the Buddha is good. You have faith in the teaching, but don't be careless. The view can be changed, right? Many people come to ordain. They feel like, oh, I love precept. I love meditation. I'm gonna go back and observe precept. I'm gonna go back and meditate every day for the rest of my life. But guess what? Not all of them can do it. After 2 3 months, their view slightly change from right view incline toward the wrong view. So they need to apply the right effort to bring it back, to bring back, hang out with good friends, go to the temple, talk to the monk, listen to the sutra. Then the will come back, right? Good will come back. Other than that, if they don't do that, the will start to incline toward the wrong view. You know what? It's okay to drink alcohol from time to time. It's okay, just one glass. But before that, no, I'm going to say no to alcohol for the rest of my life. And 3 months down the road, it's okay, just one glass. It's okay, just one cigarette. So the view slightly change from right view to wrong view. So it need to be intensified all of this. You intensify right view, intensify right thought, intensify right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. It has to be intensifying. That's the idea of the Noble Eightfold Path. You can think of the Noble Eightfold Path as the medicines. You think of the medicine, it has 8 factors in this capsule. If you're missing one of them, only 7 factors, the disease cannot be healed. You cannot be fully healed. You can feel better, but it cannot be fully healed. In order for you to be healed or fully recover from the defilement in your mind, you need to take the capsule that comprised with all of these 8 factors in that capsule. Then the defilement can be removed completely, can be uprooted completely from your mind. That's the idea of the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay? So please again go back to relearn what we learned today. If you like, you can check out this sutra reference that I have in the back as well. Also, the Majjhima Nikaya 117 to check out the advanced teaching of the Noble Eightfold Path. Done for today. So we pay respect to the triple gems. Then we take a break.